Hello, hello. I want to welcome you guys. We are streaming live, and this is your Pricing Matters, which is my podcast. My name is Mickey Wright, and I am a business growth strategist and also business funding expert. And I love talking about all things that have to do with pricing, business, and confidence. And so I'm here with some fabulous people today. Ms. April Russell is a mortgage lender who is a new author of a best-selling book on Amazon. So, whoop, whoop. So I want to welcome her to the show. It's like we're just going to talk about planning for success and for 2024 is right around the corner. And so we want you to be prepared for that. And I think she's got some fabulous tips, whether you're in the real estate environment or not, that you might want to pay attention to. So you might want to grab a cup of coffee, grab a pen and paper, and maybe take some notes. And then we're going to have Mr. Darryl Peebles join our conversation. And he is a real estate agent as well as a real estate investor, and give us some ideas in terms of pricing, in terms of planning, and what we can do to set ourselves up for success for 2024. So I'm excited to get started. You guys ready to jump right in?
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So Miss April, so tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, and kind of what led you to write this book.
Thank you so much, Mickey, for having us on today. I'm really excited to address your audience. I'm April Russell, of course. I am a mortgage loan officer. However, my sole focus today is not necessarily on mortgages, but to talk about my business, the Agent Growth Lab. I did, of course, just recently author a book called The Growth Playbook, which was written for real estate agents. But ultimately, if you are running a small business or are an entrepreneur of any kind, the book is actually for you. Those actionable things that we need to do on a daily basis will apply to you whether you're a real estate agent or not. So I have been in the finance industry since 2001. I know that's hard to believe because, girl looks young, but I absolutely love what I do. I'm all about education. I want to help people to grow. And that's the purpose of the Agent Growth Lab. And of course, the purpose of my book as well is to help those within the real estate industry or even outside of it for them to actually get started and actually grow their business.
Yeah, that sounds phenomenal because I think sometimes we get into something like starting a new business and we don't really know what steps to take. And so we can see kind of the big overall picture. It's like, oh, we want to, be the $1 million producer or whatever it might be. But like, what do we need to do on a day to day basis to actually be able to achieve that? And like you said, we shared earlier, sometimes you see the post and it's like, oh, I had another closing. Oh, this happened. And, I helped this family. But it's like, okay, how? So we want to dig into that. But let's bring on Darryl. So tell us a little bit, about your background.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me. My name's Darryl Peebles. I'm a Raleigh native. I have been in the real estate industry since about 20 years old. I didn't get licensed to start selling until 2016. But I started investing in properties at an early age, just so that I can be able to build wealth, generational, not have to work there my whole entire life. When me and April connected, we both were on the same page about helping people grow. I get calls all the time about people asking me how to help them with Airbnbs and this, that, and the other, how to invest. So all about helping our people so that, we can have generational wealth and retire early.
All right. Sounds like a great plan. So April, tell us a little bit about the book itself and like what inspired you to write it, because I think that's a big undertaking. So share with us what led you to take the steps to do that.
You know what, Mickey? You are absolutely right. It was definitely a big undertaking, but I don't regret it at all. And the reason why I don't is because I am so passionate about education and so passionate about, again, helping people grow. So the title of the book is The Growth Playbook, a real estate agent's daily success plan. And as I mentioned, there are just some things that we do or that I do or most real estate agents should be doing on a regular basis. And this is really just a reminder. I don't even necessarily think I've put anything in my book that people haven't heard before. I think it's just a reminder. But also because I am a actual mortgage loan officer, hearing it from me is a little bit different than actually hearing it or getting the information from another real estate agent. So I think overall the book gives a different perspective because it's my perspective as a loan officer, what a real estate agent should be doing. But again, not just necessarily geared toward a real estate agent. I think anyone with a business of any kind can actually learn from that book and actually grow. But that's generally how it came about. It was initially, oh, this will be a great idea, for exposure and things like that. But ultimately, again, my heart and soul is to educate and to help and be a benefit to someone. So what better way to do that than to write a book and put it in black and white? Like, these are the things that you need to do.
Right. So tell us a little bit as far as like, what would you say are like maybe the three biggest myths or what people kind of get wrong with planning? Just to share a little bit, it's like I just started a six-figure breakthrough mastermind group, and we're starting with planning. As the whole point of like our first quarter is just kind of to tame the chaos. And I find a lot of us, especially creative people, we are sometimes going here, going there. It's like we've got ideas flowing through our brains all the time. And it's like, oh, I'll just do that. And it's like we end up scattered, ineffective, and not really, making the strides that we want to make. So what are some of the things that you've seen, working with realtors from the, mortgage lending side that, they may be missing out on, or maybe some of the myths of planning?
Well, the first thing is when it comes to planning, it needs to be either written somewhere or in your notes app on your phone, because as creatives, as you mentioned, and I'm the same way, my wheels are constantly turning. I can think of a great idea just like that. However, 2 hours later, what was that again? It left me because I've already moved on to the next thing. So I keep a little notepad with me, honestly. But look, I'm all about technology. So if you want to use your phone and use the notes app, that's great. I have a little notepad. Literally, it has all of my ideas, my dreams, my goals, things that I want to do. I have a notepad that I actually write all of that in. But it's for me to be able to go back to. And mind you, do I implement or execute every single idea? No, because maybe I determine, that might not necessarily be the thing to do at the time or where I may be within my business. But the main thing for any creative is you've got to put it somewhere. When that thought hits you, you've got to put it somewhere at that moment, because you will move on. I hate to say, we all have ADD, but that's what it feels like, because our wheels are constantly turning. And sometimes we don't remember, I had a great idea. Right. And the next thing I will tell anyone to do starting a business, and especially when it comes to planning, yes, use social media, but I say get off social media. But what I mean by that is don't compare yourself to what you see on social media. Okay, this person, I'll take it to real estate. Okay, that person over there sold 100 houses this year. You have sold 10. There are some things that you can glean from that person, but don't look at that person in envy, because there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't see. Right. So that's why I say get off social media. Don't play the comparison game. You are where you are, and you work what you got right there where you are. Right. Don't compare yourself to other people. You will get there if that's the ultimate goal, but work where you are at the time.
Got it. I love that. So Darryl, like from the investor, it's like your background as an investor, what few things would you say are like kind of key to your success? Because there's a lot of people that, start down that path, but don't always, make it all the way through. So what has contributed to your success?
Well, I always give it to God, first of all. I am not as organized as my business partner, April Alford. I don't necessarily write everything down. I should, because I do have ADD, but nevertheless, my key, I would always tell people to success is don't be greedy. you know, like April said, you don't look at what you see other people do on social media, because you can be who you want to be on Instagram. You know, I can post, I can post several houses and post signs and say under contract. That don't mean it went to closing. You know, there's been plenty of stuff that I posted that, you know, the person didn't make it to closing. So, you know, just pace yourself. You know, you set a goal for yourself. You do want to write your goal down, you know. And you know, if you don't reach it, you know, try again. You know, I bought an investment property before, rented it out, was making great money. Then all of a sudden, the foundation crack. I had to dig the whole house out and paid about $5,000. Then I had to put in a sump bump, another $5,000. Then I had to pay, and it was money after money after money. And then I went broke, and I got several people calling me saying, "Hey, you know, I bought a house from you." And I was like, "No, I'm not selling. I'm not selling the house." I said almost a whole year before I got my money to get it back up and running. You know, but I didn't give up. You know, and I'm glad I did. You know, I paid $49,000 for the house. It's worth $400,000 now. You know,
Okay.
So, you know, nevertheless, so you don't give up. You write down your goals. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Because at the end of the day, you know, I always tell people sometimes more money, more problems. You know, I don't need to be a millionaire. I just need to be comfortable. You know, and if you look at what other people are doing and you're trying to work yourself to death, that, you know, I have other friends that do Airbnbs and they'll ask me, well, what did you make this month? And I'll be like, X amount of dollars. She's like, well, I made X amount of dollars a month. I said, well, your mortgage is $3,000 a month too. Mine was not. So, you know, nevertheless, you just have to pace yourself, and you know, you get there.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you sharing like the behind the scenes, because a lot of times that's not what we see on Instagram.
Oh no, we
or social media.
I even tell you that my closing didn't go through today, because we found out that somebody owed back child support or they owe student loan, all stuff. We don't even gonna post that. We try to motivate people. So sometimes if you post that stuff, that's gonna make people not motivated. And people think it's really hard to buy a house. It's really not. You just have to fix your credit, pay the people you owe. But nevertheless, don't get me on a tangent about that.
Okay. But yeah, it's like, but you know, even with owning or being an investor or what have you, it's like there are things that come up and you have to.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I don't want people to be discouraged by that, because I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna have those issues. At the end of the day, you know, those are things that you have to deal with. It, you know, in life. You know, you're either gonna work for somebody the rest of your life and then, you know, retire on a fixed income, or you're gonna, you know, put in the work and deal with some trials and tribulations, you know what I'm saying? But all those things can be fixed or whatever. You know, it was kind of stressful, you know, not when the house was under for that time, but we bounced back.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely called life. And it's like we've got a few folks joining us. So I want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I can see, I'd love to share, Marcia Blenman has joined us, and she was saying, yes, the behind the scenes part is well spoken. It's like, that's not the what we hear all the time. And she says that transparency, thank you. It's not everything that we see sometimes on social media where we're, you know, just seeing the good side, but it's like, it's not even about bringing people down, but sometimes we need to see the reality of, you know, this didn't come like, oh, someone just handed you this and it's like, oh, this is perfect. And, you know, now you're doing great. And so I think it's really interesting to, you know, kind of take that look behind. So go ahead.
I agree. Well, I was just going to mention one more thing that sometimes don't think about when you say far as investing in goals, is learn to pay people and don't try to do everything on your own. You know, I've had people and I tell them, hey, I want to become an investor in properties. And I say, okay, cool. I said, hire a property manager. Oh, I ain't paying nobody 10%. I said, that 10% is going to be well worth it, you know. And then they'll call me later and say, oh, I put a tenant in my property. They've been in there 6 months. They ain't paying me. They can't get out, and I don't know how to get them out. I said, that's where that 10% came in. Now, if you hired a property manager, they would have screened and made sure that they didn't let a squatter in your house that knew the laws better than you did. Now you're losing way more, all because you didn't want to pay 10%. Sometimes we can be too cheap and we want to pay people. Time is money. Give somebody that 10% to make sure that you got a good tenant in there and you don't have the headache. So that's one of the key things people need to realize. You can't do it all yourself. You'll burn yourself out. Pay people to do certain things that you could do, but, you know, will save you time so you can be doing other stuff.
Right. And they can do it better. It's
yeah.
It's what they do all day. So yeah.
Exactly. Even down to cleaning. You know, me and April don't like cleaning this Airbnb.
Yeah, well, April, talk to us about, it's like we've got some folks that are on and we're talking about, how to set ourselves up for success for 2024. So what should we be looking at? We're like, what, about 6 weeks or so from the end of the year and start of the new year. And so are there things that, that your book speaks to or that you can speak to that will help us to make sure we're prepared to hit the ground running on the first?
Right. Well, I think one of the most important things with the business plan, and mind you, there are so many ways to put together a business plan, but I do what I call back into my business plan, meaning that I write down the life that I would like to live. So my business plan shows the life I would like to live in 2024. I would like 2 vacations. I will need X amount of dollars for entertainment each month, be that eating out, the movies, I want to go to Drive Shack, whatever that looks like for me, right? But all of that is there. I'm spending X amount of dollars per month on beauty and makeup and hair, nails. I'm in there every 2 weeks. That is a part of my plan. So I look at that and I calculate, okay, this is what I would like to do in 2024. Now, how much money do I need to make in order to keep up with that? Now, mind you, be realistic, okay? This is not, hey, I want to buy a Bentley next year, okay? That's not what the plan is. This is a realistic plan that you can, of course, have your needs, right? So I put in there, this is how much money it takes per month to run my household, right? My mortgage, my utilities, whatever. But again, I know exactly what it takes and I know how much money I need to make. And once I see how much money I need to make, then I can go back and say, okay, well, as a mortgage loan officer, on average, I need to talk to X amount of people, or this is how many loans that I need to close in order to be able to do that. So I start planning from there. And then I plan, okay, these are the activities, because now that I know what I need to do as far as number or how much I need to do, how am I going to do it? And then that's when I start planning, here are activities that I'm going to do consistently. And consistency is key. I don't care what kind of business you have. You have to be consistent. So, and always be a student. I do talk about that briefly in my book. And I just recently did a speech in Michigan at the Michigan State Center there. And that is one of the things that I was talking about as well, is always being a student. And don't just figure you know everything. So even when I do my business plan, there's conferences in there that I would like to attend because I don't know everything and I need to seek knowledge as well. So I use the back into it kind of plan, but I mean, there's several ways to go about it, but consistency is definitely key. And you need to find what works for you. If you are, say, for example, in the beauty industry, if most of your clientele comes from referral base, well, then guess what? You need to make sure that you're staying in contact with those current clients that you have. And if there's a client that you haven't seen in a month or two, you need to be checking in. Where did they go? Because it's not just about them. It's also about who they know. Right. And that's any business. I think we should all see people that way. It's not just about that one individual. The average person knows 200 people.
Yep.
So I not only want a relationship with you, I want a relationship with the people you know as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you spoke to so many things there. So I want to unpack it a little bit. Okay.
That was a lot. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. It's really good stuff. I just don't want anybody to skip past, what we're talking about, because, being specific about what you wanted, it's like getting your nails done, getting your hair done, travel, going on vacation, all of those things are like realistic things. And a lot of times we don't even think about them until they come up or until I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to take a break. I need to take off. But then it's like, we're in the midst of, we've already got people scheduled or things that are on the appointment. We haven't necessarily put savings in place to have the money to go ahead and pay for it. And so then we end up kind of almost creating more problems than we had before because we didn't really take the time to plan and look ahead at just, some very basic things. I appreciate the level of, you sharing with us. It's like, this is real day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's really, really key. And we're getting some great comments in here. Janice Evans says great information back into it. Yeah, and I think that's such a good key for us. And Marcia says, Blenman says, awesome. And Kimberly Hines Winborn is here. Hey.
Kimberly, hey girl,
And Cornelia is here. So,
hey.
hey.
Hey, Amelia.
Yeah, it's like we've got some wonderful folks here. But you were sharing about the plan, and it's like, and I think combining it, what you were saying, with writing it down is like really key. And then I think, if there's other people who are involved with some of those decisions, to have those conversations, like now, before we get into 2024, so you can be on the same page and know what needs to happen, whether it's a business partner, whether it's a significant other, spouse, or what have you, children, who's going to be involved with all of this, so you can really start to make some things happen from there. So yeah, it's like really good stuff. And Darryl, anything you'd like to add to?
I just want to piggyback on that. You don't know it all, April was talking about, and be able to be the student and learn. I got like two great examples about that. I sold a house to a guy, and he has a moving company, and I referred him to actually a realtor. She's an on-site agent realtor, because she needed a mover. And so she had moved before, and when something got broken, and the guy's insurance didn't cover it because he had the minimum amount. So she's called me. She said, "Hey, just call the guy and let him know that, hey, he has the minimum amount, and with that minimum amount, if this was to happen, it wouldn't cover." And so when I tried to tell him, he was like, "Oh, I've been doing this for this long, blah 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 blah. I know she don't know what she's talking about." And I told him, I was like, "This lady probably has so much business that she could give you."
Right.
She's an on-site agent, but
right.
because he wouldn't listen and increase the policy, she's not going to send anybody to him, because she's already experienced working with somebody that didn't have enough insurance, and he didn't want to listen. And because he's one of those people who thinks he know it all about, I invited him to a networking event, and he was like, "Oh, I was busy today." And I was like, "The networking event I could have brought, that you could have came and met XYZ people," but he was like, "Oh, I made X amount of dollars." Okay. So you definitely want to be.
Uh-oh, we lost your audio.
People give you advice. The other day, I made a post and saying I needed some cleaners. Lady reached out, her prices were ridiculous, and she had no insurance. And I was just like, you cannot not have insurance. I mean, you can start with no insurance. Everybody, a lot of times, I got some inboxes, people are kind of like trying to say that I think I'm big stuff because, now. And I said, it's not that I think I'm big stuff now. I said, because even when I had started out in business, I had insurance, because my cousin owns his own insurance company. But I understand somebody come cut our grass. I ain't gonna ask for your insurance policy because you just cutting the grass or whatever. But even that, I had a renter one time. Somebody was cutting her grass. The rock hit and broke her sliding glass door, and he didn't have insurance. But I was telling the lady, I said, let your prices match the status of where you're at. So you may not have insurance yet, but if you charging $250 to $275 to clean my Airbnb, and you ain't got no insurance, and I can go over here to this other person who has insurance, and they ain't even charging as much as you, you're not going to get any business. Mm-hmm. And, she was like, "I'm fine, da 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 da." She said, "Good luck with finding the cleaner." I was like, "Okay, well, good luck staying in business long." So nevertheless, just be open to learn. You definitely have to be open to learn. Sometimes people get into business and they get a little arrogant, once they get a couple of coins in their pocket, but you always a paycheck away from being, broke again when you self-employed, because we don't come with health insurance and retirement. So just really be open to learning and hearing from other people what you could do to improve your business, because at the end of the day, we're in business because we're providing good customer service. So when you have people that's telling you XYZ and you not want to listen, even with selling a house, I always tell people, they're like, "Oh, my house is worth this." Well, you think it's worth that because you put in gold fixtures and marble floors.
Right. Uh-oh, we lost your audio. But yeah, I think what he was saying was just such good points, and definitely the never stop learning, and I think Kimberly says so important, forever learning, for sure. But yeah, it's like we sometimes shoot ourselves in the foot because it's like we think we know, or we're almost trying to avoid going down the path that's been recommended, suggested. Like you had the example of the person with the who didn't get the insurance, and
Right.
that those things are, stopping your growth, and you don't even realize it. You think, oh, I'm saving money on this end, and it's like, but it's really costing you. Hopefully we'll get Darryl back. You may have had a
Yeah.
something with the internet, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's so important. And you mentioned in terms of the education, like planning it ahead, and actually starting to put the funds away, and knowing, I'm going to have travel, I'm going to have to eat while I'm there, and all these kind of things, to really start to lay it out and what that looks like. And then the other thing I think that's great is, one of the reasons I guess I do some of what I do is, like, I feel like I've had such great mentors. It's like my mom was in business, as I was growing up, my parents before my dad passed away, and my mom continued. And also, I have a lot of aunts and uncles who've been in business as well, but a lot of us are first generation business owners. So
Yeah.
there's a lot we don't know. And even with having great role models, there's still a lot that I don't know, a lot that everybody doesn't know. And it's like, if we don't stay open to learning, it's like we can't ever close some of these gaps that are sitting in front of us, that are part of our experience right now, because we don't have, for the most part, hundreds and hundreds of years of, oh, this is how you run a business, oh, this is how you start a business, oh, this is how you save, and this is how you invest, and this is how you do certain things. It's relatively new to most of us. And so
It is. And the world is ever changing. So that's why I say always be a student, because there's
right.
always something new for you to learn. And that's not to say, again, like Darryl was saying, you don't have to be an expert at everything. But I think for a lot of us, and especially for those of us that have our own business, we need to identify what those blind spots are for us. What is it that I need? What area do I need more knowledge in order to properly run my business or to properly serve my clientele? What does that look like?
Right.
And I think a lot of times someone can point out our blind spots to us, and we may not necessarily want to receive it because, again, we all think we know everything and we don't. So when that blind spot is pointed out to us, we need to seek the knowledge behind that. Again, that's why I know there are 2 conferences that I will be attending in 2024. I need the information.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I think, like what you're saying is so good, because it's like we need to keep learning and growing, but also we don't need to overdo the learning and growing, because it's like we can become junkies to the information and don't
Yes,
have the
we can't conference
implementation.
hop. Look, we
Yeah.
can't keep conference hopping. Okay, every month we at a different conference. No, 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 no. Pick 1 or 2, implement. Right, that's the power we have having a small business. We have the power of implementation. So if we're trying something and it's not working for 3 or 4 months, okay, switch it up a little bit. It's our own business, and we have the freedom to be able to do that. Right, this is not McDonald's. If they want to change a burger, they got to go up the chain. No,
Right.
no, it's your business. Change it.
Yeah, but not just willy-nilly. Think about it a little bit,
Right.
and maybe get some counsel from some other people
Yeah,
who can see, like you
absolutely.
said, some of the things that you may need help with that you can't see. I heard it described like, like we all have this backpack on our back, and we keep looking around like, nope, I'm good. I got it all together. But it's like the backpack's getting heavier and heavier with all our stuff and all our blind spots and everything. And so, yeah, I think that's so good. Welcome back, Darryl.
Little technical difficulties there.
Say that again.
I said little technical difficulties there.
Gotcha. It happens. The technology is great, and until it's not. So, yeah, we're not going to keep everybody here too much longer. But it's like, April, with your book, tell us, how we can get access to it, and some things that we might, should zone in on.
Right. So there's 2 ways to get access to the book. It's actually on Amazon. It's an Amazon bestseller. So you can look that up. You can go to Amazon, search my name, or you can search the name of the book, The Growth Playbook. You can also go to agentgrowthlab.co and actually request your copy there as well. I also, if you go through the site, agentgrowthlab.co, and order the book through the site, I actually have a business planning guide that you can actually download. It's absolutely free to you as well, to help you get started with that 2024 plan.
Awesome. We love that. And Kimberly says, congratulations. So
Thank you,
yeah, that's
Kimberly.
awesome. And it's like we could all use a little help, or I know I could on the support side with, planning and getting some different things. Oh, thank you so much, Kimberly, for adding that to the comments so everybody can click on it. We appreciate it. And Daryl, anything that you wanted to share with us that you didn't get a chance to share when you got
No,
off?
I said it all pretty much.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. So
Like,
people
get
are in.
get April's book. It's good.
Okay.
I've got the book live, like in person, because she tells me all of this stuff
Right.
on a
Right.
regular basis, and I had to give her her props for a part of my success and staying on me and having me to write stuff down and all of that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We all need accountability, and so
Yeah.
it's great when you have someone you can partner up with and make sure you guys stay on your toes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you both for being here. Any last minute like daily tips? I know your playbook is about the daily. So is there something we should look at?
Just
Just
be
one of those things.
consistent.
Be consistent.
Consistency is key. I
Okay.
cannot stress that enough.
Okay.
Consistency is key. Stop. We're not in a microwave generation. That's what it feels like. Everybody wants everything quick. And
Right.
especially if you were in sales, the activities that you do consistently now, you might not see fruit for the next 4 to 6 months, but you keep doing it.
Mm.
Water it, right? What you feed will grow. Be consistent. It will pay off. It will absolutely pay off.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
I agree with that. Consistency is key. If you're not consistent, I don't care what business you're in. And the piece about the social media, just to pick back on that again, sometimes you have to get off of social media. Like, when because social
Right.
media is addictive. You can be on TikTok University all day long laughing at folks and they're silly. They making money. You
Right.
sitting watching, okay? So sometimes, social media can promote your business, but it also can have you being unproductive. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's designed that way. So to keep us,
it really is. And you
to
can't
keep
tell
us
everybody in business. You can't tell everybody everything too, because sometimes
right.
people tell all their business on social media, and everybody don't have your dream. Everybody don't have your calling. Everybody don't have your anointing. So you go on social media with your great idea, telling people, and the next thing you know, then they have you second guessing yourself, like, ugh, you
Right.
know, they got haters out there. So you
Okay.
can't tell everybody everything.
No, not on social media. No haters. Marcia says great information. Thanks to you as well. Thank you so much, Marcia. I appreciate you being here and appreciate everyone being here. But yes, you guys speak truth and wisdom. We appreciate it. And definitely grab a copy of the book. And like she said, if you go to, let me make sure I'm saying it right, agentgrowthlab.co, then you can get not only the book, but a free download. So, yep, grab it, grab it now. And I also want to invite you guys. It's like I'm actually doing a mini business assessment for business owners out there, and it could be any type of business, and even realtors. But also, I will help you find $10,000 to $100,000 of hidden revenue and profits in your business in that time frame in just about 15 minutes. So it's like if you are interested in taking a look at that and getting your game plan set up for 2024. I'm happy to help you with that. And it is at mickywright.com. You can visit mickywright.com, which just has one K, MIKIWRIGHT. And there is a little quick video that you can have access to and be able to schedule and meet with me. So I look forward to it, to supporting everybody and moving forward and really making their dreams come true in 2024. So I want to thank you, April, for taking time out of your day. I want to thank you, Daryl. It's like for just being here with us and sharing such wonderful stories as far as your investor experience, because I think that's something we all need to be at least keeping on our radar. And April, congratulations on the bestseller status. I know definitely a lot of work goes into putting the book together, getting the ideas out of your head, making it come to life. And so we commend you for that. So thank you. And thank you so much for sharing, because it's like, we need this. We
Thank you
need a
for
plan.
having me. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Having us.
Yep. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And I think that we are out of time. So I will look forward to seeing you guys the next time on Your Pricing Matters. I'm actually on YouTube. So it will air there, which is youtube.com/Mickey Wright. And again, just 1K, MIKIWRIGHT. I invite you to subscribe and follow. It's like we're going to be doing some of these interviews, panels, conversations at least twice a month. And I definitely would love to keep you included and in the loop. So you guys take great care, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.